Welcome one, welcome all to episode 251 of the Xbox Expansion Pass, recorded on Saturday, November 16th, 2024. I'm your host, Luke Lohr, the Insipid Ghost, joined by my co-host, the Intrepid Captain Logun. Today, we're discussing information coming out of a series of interviews, including the now confirmed Xbox handheld, the consoleless future of the Xbox, and could Halo be heading to other platforms? Yeah. As always, we hope you enjoy the show. Logan, we like to start the show by offering words of kindness to those who have made our gaming weeks better. But first, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. The week is over. We are now in full swing of video game timeframes. You're going to be out and about, actually seeing other video game friends and like touching grass and stuff, which is odd. But yeah, I had a busy week for work, but I had some small victories that are just gonna make life a little more friendly or my own. I think there's things going on. There's little things going on that I'm really happy that happened this week. So outside of that, boy, heck of a week for gaming this week. Yeah. It seems like everyone decided they're all like, yeah, we're just gonna make choices today. And
yeah. Yeah. Well, as far as like your life smoothing out, yeah, you've had rapids in the last year or so, and now it looks like some of those rapids will be calming and a little more smooth riding. So that's exciting for you to get to kind of enjoy life a bit more.
100%. I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Well, nonetheless, it is good to see you. Hello, Nissa Hauer in chat. James Suddy in the chat. Good to see Rick Davis. He was first in today, as well as Silkenit. And, of course, my buddy Can of Beans. Can of Beans, always good to see you. I won't say your name on air, Can of Beans. He asked about that the other day, and I was like, no, I can't say your name on air. So just not a thing to do. Nonetheless, it is... Yeah, can't do that. But it is very good to see everybody today. I hope you are all doing well. Logan, I've got some words of kindness to send out off the bat today, if you don't mind.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Jump in.
First things first, longtime supporter of the show, Todd Oxtra. Of course, he hosts Secret Friends Unite. They are set to record their 500th episode tomorrow, which is just fantastic. You and I celebrated episode 250 of XEP, and that's amazing. And so it's really nice to get to see him kind of getting that win, because we know how hard content creation is, and we know how difficult it can be to make content where support ebbs and flows with people's lives, which is a normalcy that comes with anything. And then to make content about stuff you love when maybe it's not going well. I know you're familiar with that, given Keelhauled. I know for me, like talking about DC could be difficult, or Xbox in the dark times, but to see them hit 500 episodes and to know what a great human being Todd Oxtra is, and how he's supportive of so many other communities, I'm just really happy for him and proud of him. So I wanted to offer him some words of kindness. And then in a similar vein, I was reached out to over on Xbox Live by a gentleman by the name of Zach Bowser. And Zach was the very first person to give us a super chat. Zach has been supporting XEP since roughly episode 80, and has now joined our Discord community. And so it was just cool to reconnect, because, he's one of the graybeards, one of the old hats of our gaming socials. And it's always tough to like enter into a new social platform. Obviously, we're experiencing a boon of blue sky, and he was experiencing Discord for the first time. And I remember how nervous I was with Discord, just adjusting, right? And so really cool to reconnect with him. My heart was full. I was happy. And so those are my two words of kindness off the bat this week that I wanted to give shout outs to.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. Those are good shout outs. I appreciate those. Similarly, I have someone who is actually not like an old person as far as like someone that's been following my content for a while, but I got a comment the other day that I'm going to talk about on Keelhauled, but I've been talking and thinking a lot about Keelhauled, and you wanted to bring this up on the show, but I figured I'd kind of toss out this little kind of perk about being a content creator, especially when content is hard to do sometimes.
Sure.
But Fleer over on YouTube commented on one of my Keelhauled videos and just said that the little comment that they put just really brightened my day. And they said, finding this channel was a blessing for my recommended. I have always had issues listening to streamers or videos while playing Sea of Thieves because the videos always have the in-game sound, included, making playing with a video on in the background very disorienting and difficult. This takes all the positives and mashes it into one with the news that you give from various SOT social medias to the gameplay without audio, so I have some visual to watch when the game's not important. You have 100% earned my sub. Keep up the good work, man. And stuff like that absolutely like brightens my day. Like, and for a long time, like I used to just put up the and we used to do the same thing. We used to just put up the audio for XEP and for Keelhauled just on YouTube, you know, without any kind of video or anything like that.
Right.
Having moved it to live has made things a lot simpler as far as like production goes. But for Keelhauled, at least, I still put up a lot of B-roll, which means I have to go in and actively think about like recording the video that I'm going to be my gameplay, and then edit that in with the actual episode to put up to YouTube. And it was a recommendation that came in a long time ago. But it was one of those things that it was hard for me to get over. Like, this is a podcast. Do I really need to have video for it? And YouTube spoke out and said, hey, yeah, you do need to have like video for this. If you want us to enjoy your content, we need to have something visual there. So ever since I had started doing that, that was always just something that was like, oh, well, this is just another thing I have to add on top of my production level to be able to get it to something where people are going to enjoy that content. And now I'm seeing the fruits of that. And it's really beautiful to actually like have these moments. The other one was Kev in our group, who has been hanging out with me and a chick. And
a lot of COD,
playing a lot of COD. And, you know, it's been really nice to have him kind of come in and just hang out with us. And now about the time that you guys usually jump on to game, her and I are sitting in our own little Discord having, you know, still playing matches and stuff like that. And it's like, is it about time for the guys to be jumping on? And she's actively like wanting to know, like, hey, are the guys going to be playing today? Like, do we need to switch over to the Discord? You know, what's going on with that? So it's been really awesome to have some other folks join us in with like the Call of Duty camo grind and stuff like that.
That is cool. That is a nice win. And I'm happy because, like, you know, it's like your friends are connecting away from you is a cool feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's a cool thing, and it makes me happy because, you know, well, what's up, Timmy? Good to see you in chat, buddy. Good to see you, Nerd Chat, and Kevin Ainsworth.
Hey, Timmy.
Timmy. Good to see all of you guys. But, like, you know, when you have friends connect through you and then become friends on their own time, very cool. Yeah. Always dig that. Always fun to see, which is cool. And I'll give a shout out also to people over on Blue Sky. There's been a nice migration of the gaming community away from Twitter for cavalcade of reasons, but it's nice to see that mass exodus that struggled to find traction in Mastodon, struggled to find traction in Threads, arrive in Blue Sky, which is truly just a feature complete replica of Twitter in
crazy.
A wonderful way. And so it's really nice to see people there. I know I've been able to connect with a lot of people, mutuals, reconnecting there. And so I'm just happy that we're finding a new place, because the show has been struggling to grow numbers. XEP has, since Twitter kind of took a nosedive in terms of algorithms. And so it's been tough to find discovery over on YouTube and whatnot. And so to have a new social space that seems to be doing a nice thing for discovery is really cool. And so finding some nice traction there and just helping connect with people that would enjoy XEP has been wonderful, particularly after episode 250 and stuff. So a nice uptick in terms of getting to engage with people. And I don't mean that for clicks. I mean conversations and like-minded individuals that enjoy talking games. Like, that's what I mean. And so that's been nice to see, because that's the actual point of a show, right? It's not to get the like button clicked. The like button is a symptom of growth and enjoyment of your platform. So that's what I mean.
Yeah. It's fascinating to see just how many people are actively chatting and engaging with conversations on Blue Sky right now.
Mhm.
It really does remind me of like when Twitter first kind of kicked up and everyone was excited and learning about it, and there was a small community that kind of
Mhm.
wasn't troubled by advertising or revenue or bots hitting you up all the time. Like there's active conversations going on right now in Blue Sky, and it really does have a lot of the features and functionality that you'd expect from a matured social media right out the gate. And having the creators of Twitter kind of building this out, it's been going for a while, and they've been soft launching it for a long time. People jumped in early to kind of get their handles, and now that we kind of have it open up for everyone, it's nice to see like lists of people to follow, lists of people to kind of like give you something to kind of like just have a little bit of a Kickstarter list of like, hey, these are all the people, and people are making lists all the time. These are all the people that you should be following if you're going to be jumping into gaming on Blue Sky. Like follow these folks if you want smaller creators, follow these folks if you want larger creators, and just a number of different things that people have found and discovered and are sharing on Blue Sky is fantastic. So I've really enjoyed the fact that we've been able to really kind of find some new friends over there.
I thoroughly agree. It's been a neat, I guess, it's been fast. It's been very fast. And as a result of that, it's been like, whoa, okay, cool. This is everything it used to be and more. And so that's been fun. I'm finding people that I enjoy talking to. I'm seeing people that I follow. Like I lost track of people that I was following, content creators and friends of the show. I was following them, but I never got to see their stuff. And so it's nice to have that happen once again. So
yeah, seeing people's posts finally, if you're following, like the number of people that I would actually be able to like have followed on Twitter and never see their content, I was always annoyed by that. I'm like, I these people are making content, like they're making posts. Why am I not ever seeing it? But it's like you'd had to go like interact with someone to get the algorithm to be like, oh, did you want to see more of this person's? It's like, no, I wanted to see everyone's stuff all the time.
Right. No, I'm 100% with you. 100% with you. Well, look, man, let's talk some Xbox this week. We got a lot of cool gaming news to talk about, to break down, to examine, all of that stuff. We've got a Phil Spencer interview. Hi, Meadow1606. Todd Oxter, good to see you, buddy. We were just talking about you. I'm going to be rotating between, by the way, channel members scrolling at the bottom and 6 month plus members as well. Because when I did our numbers after last week's episode, we have 57 channel members right now, which is just
nice. Wonderful.
And I appreciate all the support, the gifted subs, etc. So I'm grateful to all of you. So let's talk shop here. Let's see what we got. Phil Spencer was on GameFile with Stephen Totillo. He was out at Bloomberg with Jason Schreier. He was at Rolling Stone, giving a lot of talks about the future of Xbox, what was going on with the brand, what they were looking forward to. We also got a new Xbox ad that times well and poorly with a lot of his messaging, and South by Midnight documentary, as well as the deep dive for Indiana Jones that I think came out perhaps before last week's episode, but we didn't really go as far into it as maybe we could have. So I thought it was worth. Was it this week as well?
It was like Monday or something.
Okay.
It was ridiculously. It was early.
Yeah, we had a lot to kind of break down and go through here. Let me put that down. Okay.
Oh, you know what it was? They announced that they were going to be doing the video last week, but the video wasn't going to go live until this week.
Gotcha. I see. All right. Well, fair enough then. Fair enough. So there we are. Well, we've got quotes to break down, of course, messaging to break down. Hello, Portal Player. Good to see you, bud. The first thing I want to jump into, if you don't mind, was a quote that came from came from Phil Spencer, rather, to GameFile over with Stephen Totillo, that says, quote, "We want our games playable across as many screens as possible. We think about the Xbox platform as the Xbox console, PC, and cloud. We want all the games playable across all of those. We want them to be play anywhere," end quote. Tie that into a secondary quote given to Rolling Stone, where he said, "Our biggest growth in Xbox players is on PC and cloud. The console spaceball the console space all up isn't growing. Across all of them, we love those customers, but in terms of continuing to expand and grow Xbox, it's about PC, it's about cloud, and it's about making our games more available in more places, end quote. The last thing that I think pairs with these two quotes, quote, we'll definitely do more consoles in the future and other devices, end quote. And I find all of this, Logan, to be strange and mixed messaging, but also not nearly as the sky is falling, I think, is that some people are making. You can play your Xbox in lots of places, and the future of gaming, according to Spencer, and I think the trends in many ways, is not console based. And to me, this is a net win, a net positive, a net good thing. It still rubs me the wrong way in my old hat gray beer element aspects here, but playing Xbox in more places is a good thing for the brand. So I'm curious to you what you think about a lot of this, how you've digested it in our chat, both live and in the comment section later on. How are you intaking a lot of this info?
Well, it depends, because I have a couple questions for you. I have a cup of coffee right here that I originally thought was a cup of coffee, but Luke, I am led to believe that this is actually an Xbox.
It could be. It could be.
An
I saw an
Xbox.
ad. Well, no, hold on. The ad very clearly broke down that sushi, not an Xbox.
Not an
Something
Xbox.
with the screen is an Xbox.
Okay, so my phone here, this is an Xbox.
That's an Xbox.
Okay, and I've got my my Logitech G Cloud back behind me. Is
also an Xbox.
Also an Xbox. Okay.
Also an Xbox.
What about the Xbox that's behind my TV here? Is that still an Xbox?
According to Xbox, that is as much an Xbox as your Xbox.
Man,
and
that's
your
wild.
G-Cloud and your
I didn't realize I had so many Xboxes at this point. I actually have more Xboxes than I actually have PlayStations. So I don't know. Is PlayStation giving me PlayStations as well that I already own?
No, you have to buy a $500 portal for it to be a PlayStation. And you can buy some PlayStation games on a screen sometimes.
Gotcha. Okay. So I have a lot more Xboxes at the moment. Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, that feels like a positive, because at least I know, like, I don't have to carry the really big normal Xbox around with me. I've got the smaller Xbox there, and I've got the even smaller Xbox here. It feels like at that point, I mean, like, well, it just depends on how heavy of an Xbox I want to carry around with me. So I'm not seeing what the issue is here. As long as I know that, like, coffee is still coffee, I'm not too concerned, because that's what I need to be able to play Xboxes. So I feel pretty positive about this. And actually, if I'm being serious, the advertising was good. It was a really good ad. It was quirky, and it needed to kind of identify, like, hey, by the way, if you think an Xbox is an Xbox, you might be missing out on a lot of places where Xbox is also. And that is exactly what that ad did. And I thought it captured that very well. It's like the advertising that came out October 2017, when they're like, this is a Nintendo Switch. And they showed all of the places that people were taking their Nintendo Switch. And everyone was like, are you really able to take this on a rooftop and play with Karen? Am I really able to take this out into the world and play on the train? This is what a Nintendo is. It's not just a Nintendo 3DS. This is a full-fledged system. And, like 5 years later, 6 years later, 7 years later, we're always like, okay, when are we getting our new fancier Switch? Because that's what we really, really want. So I liked this Xbox ad. I thought this was one of the better ones that they've put out. And I don't understand, like, I understand the sentiment behind wanting to keep the Xbox console sacred. I get that. But at the same time, the idea, the paradigm around gaming consoles and gaming in general is shifting to something that is we're going to, and I think one of the quotes in here is that Phil Spencer said, we're not going to grow the market with $1,000 consoles. And I think that's important to understand, because that's one of the areas that is going to happen. If you want consoles to keep up with PCs, you're going to have to make stronger consoles. And the only way you can afford to make stronger consoles is if you charge more. And that comes down to the consumer. So the consumer has to decide, do you want experiences that are going to be just on a $500 console? Or are you going to want something that is going to be able to handle the resolution and the frame rates that PCs can? And if you do, you're either going to have to pick up a PC or you're going to have to get more expensive consoles. Or the alternative, you stream it and you leave all the hardware to the back end.
So let's step back for just a moment, because Court Lalonde wrote in over on Blue Sky and said, talk about the new Xbox marketing strategy campaign. And I don't find this to be new at all. And I think that echoes a bit of what Portal Player said in chat. What Phil said isn't new, though. He's been saying this for like 4 or 5 years. Absolutely. I don't find this to be a new strategy at all. I think we're becoming more acclimated to it as Logitech G Clouds and cloud gaming expands, as you see Call of Duty's acquisition and release into PC cloud spaces alongside their console brethren are happening simultaneously. I think this is not new in the slightest. I think it's just another kind of uptick and reminder that the console market is not growing. I think it pairs poorly with the combination messaging of, yeah, we're working on a handheld, but it's not coming out next year. And then it pairs poorly with the idea of, yeah, we're making a new Xbox console. And I think when you keep telling people that you don't need a console and that you're making something, but it's not out yet, and then you're also saying, well, you don't need it though. That's very strange. One of the
let me finish. Keep going.
Okay. I think also it pairs poorly with the timing of there's no red line in the sand. He said Halo, Gears, Forza, it's all up for grabs as far as putting it on other platforms. And it sounds very much like he's alluding to PlayStation, but the reality, I think, is he's alluding to Switch too. They're willing to put their stuff anywhere. There's no like, yeah, we'll put Indiana Jones, but not Halo. No, it's like, no, we'll put anything anywhere to grow our customer base. And I couple all of these things together with, I don't find this to be a new strategy. I think they've already had the works on all of these things for a long time. And I could cite something as early as supporting Minecraft on the Vita if you really want to get, in the nitty gritty. But it does consistently devalue owning an Xbox. And I truly don't think there is a reason to own a console, with the exception of Game Pass. And Game Pass is a big reason to own a console, right? But like when people say, do I need an Xbox? No, you need a PC or a device that's capable of streaming well. But do you need the console anymore? No, I don't think so.
So a couple points that I want to call back to that you mentioned, because I think there's some unsaid words that need to be added to some of your statements. And correct me if I'm out of line. So when Phil says that you don't need an Xbox, I think that the subtext there is you don't need an Xbox to play Xbox games. And that understanding is we are still going to continue making Xbox consoles for people that want Xbox consoles. So do you need an Xbox console to play Xbox games? No. Do you want an Xbox console to play your Xbox games? Yes. Then we're still going to be making those. And that isn't going to change. But the idea of only being able to play Xbox content on Xbox consoles is the concept that is going away. This is something that, surprisingly enough, we always joke about how Xbox is going third party, but in actuality, there's an interesting parallel here that I don't think people really think about too often, and that's Xbox offers Game Pass, right? And everyone talks about stop renting your games. Xbox isn't just renting your game or giving you a rental for your games. Like you can stop Game Pass at any time and still buy all of the games that they offer through Xbox Game Pass, right? Going third party is similar to what Sega did. Sega released all of their content and started going third party. Putting Sonic on Nintendo platforms was sacrilege for many, many people. It didn't make any sense. They didn't like it. If Sega had continued making consoles and releasing their content on other platforms, it would be no different than what Xbox is doing right now. And I kind of wonder what would have happened to Sega if they had decided to continue pushing that. And instead of giving up on the hardware, which people loved because the Dreamcast was an amazing console, it was actually a really underrated console at the time. I think that they could have been in place to serve Xbox where Xbox was looking to get into the market very well. So I think it's interesting that people are consistently saying like, why is Phil saying that we don't need an Xbox? He's not saying that you don't need an Xbox. He's saying you don't need a console to play Xbox. And that's the mentality that I think we need to shift our minds to. That is the paradigm shift that is happening. Xbox can be found on any screen that you can access Xbox's website or ecosystem. The console is still a honed in experience that is going to give you the no frills. This is the just the root core essence of what Xbox is experience.
Gotcha. Quick shout out over on Blue Sky to Godhammer6 says, jumped in to drop a like for the stream. Been listening for a while, but you're in my Monday workday podcast rotation, so I got to keep it fresh till then. Would have forgotten if you weren't on Blue Sky. Welcome over. Thanks, Godhammer. I hope you're doing well, man, and I hope your Monday treats you well, my friend. No, you're making good points, Logan. That paradigm shift does need to happen. If you look very distinctly and specifically at Sega, I think they would have gone under in a heartbeat, and they wouldn't have survived if they had not made the choices that they did. I think Atari is an interesting but not one-to-one comparison. I think if you're watching a couple other places as far as like the shifting of strategies, Square Enix, Sega, Capcom, and so many others, they're having to adjust to survive. Xbox lost the Xbox One generation, and they lost it for business reasons and sincere messaging reasons. And I saw a wonderful question posed to one of our friends of the show, and I like another podcast, and I can't remember which one at the moment. But the question was like, this is an Xbox a marketing blunder, followed up with, is this similar to Xbox's 2013 messaging blunders where like, TV, you can do everything on the Xbox, always online, all your games are digital. Is this the same level mess up? And I think not even close, not even a little bit. The 2013 messaging was all accidental. It was incidental and accidental and unintentional in every way, despite the fact that all those practices they were introducing are now commonplace across everyone, every game manufacturer, maker, publisher, etc. And so I think that was the issue that was taking place. I swear, if you get us copyrighted because you're on Disney Plus right now,
there's no audio. There's no audio, baby. We're
making
good.
Sure, I don't need.
Hey, I'm saying right now, like in the background for the listeners, I am pulling up TV after TV after TV streaming services on my Xbox console. Seems to me that we're totally fine with having TV. So I don't know why people were crying about it back in 2013. I missed out on that. I jumped into the Xbox One series late, and it was because of Sea of Thieves. And I think it was Connect. Actually, I wanted to play bowling.
So I bounced out immediately of the Xbox One. I said, no, thank you, because I did not like the lack of games focus by Xbox at the time. I did not think the Kinect was a worthwhile design because it has the microphone next to the speakers of the TV, which is, I think, a bad setup approach because it was hard to like systematically work. And when I turn on my Xbox, I turn it on to game. Flash forward, 11 years from that point. And some of those things I'm very much on board with, but I did not support Xbox in 2013 until the Xbox One S and X. The S first, because it arrived for Halo 5. No, not Halo 5. It arrived for a
Gears 5?
Maybe no, it would have been Gears 4, but it arrived for the purpose of kind of some of the Xbox games that I think are very special. And then I got to go back and experience like Recore, the Master Chief Collection and such. But it was when they had the 1S, the system redesign, that I was able to look back on a lot of the course corrected decisions that they made. For example, games with gold became a thing during 2015, 14. Back compat became a thing. Like they course corrected a lot of stuff that they botched in 2013 because they didn't have back compat. They didn't have a games with gold to counter PS Plus.
Oh wow.
So there was a lot of issue. There were a lot of issues. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad in 2013. Whereas now it's like, y'all are forgetting how good you've got it. Game Pass remains the best place to consume a massive amount of diverse portfolios. And I want to call out James Suddy's comment in chat and push back a little bit and then cite and agree as well. Suddy says, as a parent, I think owning a console, specifically Xbox, is one of the best ways to introduce kids to gaming. The parent controls on Xbox are amazing. Now, I don't have children and I don't use parent controls, so I am a bit like I am ignorant to that. But I wonder how many parents know about that versus seeing Nintendo, oh, Mario, I'm buying my kid that, or PlayStation's the most popular, I'm going to get them that because they like Spider-Man. And I don't know the answer, but I wonder if many people are in the same boat as Suddy.
I would imagine that there's I imagine that most of parents are probably buying the console for the kids and then just buying like they're probably not even actually buying many games, to be perfectly honest, because most of the games that kids are going to be playing are free. So I'm not too sure, outside of like being able to control like how much time you spend on a console is going to be something that is questionable about on other streaming services. So like having a Logitech G Cloud, I don't know if there's a way in the Xbox app to be able to dictate like how much time your kids are spending on Xbox. So I can see, yeah, there's definitely an argument to be made for having a dedicated piece of hardware that you have a lot more control over for kids to be able to access content through than say any streaming device or any screen. But I don't think that that's what this ad marketing was trying to do. I think what it was trying to do was trying to break out of the idea that your library is only available on one console and that's it. I think that they were trying to say like, hey, you know, it's not going to be long before your library is available on all of these other screens. And that's kind of where the play anywhere comes into play. Also where the streaming your game library is going to come into play. And to be perfectly honest, there is some serious issues right now with a lot of Activision Blizzard games where the purchases you make on different ecosystems are not play anywhere, which is not very core to what Xbox's mentality is. So
which games, like what are you referring to? Because I'm confused. I feel like I missed a quarter of what you said in one spot.
No, well, so we'll take Call of Duty Black Ops 6 for a good example. Brand new game on Game Pass. If you want to buy the Vault Edition, say with your Game Pass Ultimate discount, right? But you bought the game on Steam because that's where most of your library is. You can buy the Vault Edition for the discount or the COD points or like the Vault Edition for the discount. But that content, that purchase does not translate over to the Steam ecosystem version.
I see.
Even though you're connected up to an Activision account, even though that account is connected to your Xbox account, it doesn't translate.
That's very strange. If it's linked to your, because like I have COD points that I earned in Modern Warfare 3's Battle Pass that I can use in Black Ops just because it's COD points.
Yeah.
You know, you can add them on your PlayStation side and then it's linked COD points.
Yeah.
That's strange.
So it's things like that don't quite make sense. And that's where I think that going with this holistic idea of play anywhere for the casual gamer, for the like the hardcore gamer who has multiple devices that wants to be able to access that content. Xbox really needs to go through with a fine-tooth comb and really identify areas where the play anywhere isn't exactly play anywhere, and that goes from microtransactions all the way just to being able to buy a game in one place and have access to it on any of the other devices. So that's something that I'm hoping happens. Now, obviously, there's like legislation and contracts and all these things that go into whether or not you can actually like do this across different ecosystems, because obviously with Steam, they've got deals with how that content is purchased, owned, and operated. There's obviously a kickback to Xbox potentially for purchases of Xbox games through Steam. So I'm sure Steam probably gets maybe a portion of that purchase as well, but having access to that ecosystem is more important. So it just makes me wonder, you know, as we kind of move forward, not to derail away from Suddy's point about there being excellent parent controls on the Xbox console themselves. But I think that is a good example about why you would want to have like an actual Xbox as opposed to just like a tablet or streaming device or phone that you don't necessarily get the control over how that content is delivered, managed, or updated, or, you know, accessed.
Fair enough. All right. Well, Logan, big picture, just yes or no. Is it good that Xbox is running like messaging? This is not an Xbox, or sorry, this is an Xbox. Yes or no? Just say yes or no. No caveat.
Yes.
There you go. Okay, now explain it. Because I agree with you. Yes.
I think yes. As long as Xbox continues to make Xbox consoles, then this is just adding to the pool of players. And if they're not taking away the consoles by any stretch at this point. This is the messaging that they've said. Granted, they've Phil has always talked well around the things that they plan on doing, without outright giving false information. Not to say that he's lying, but you know, he said that they would identify new IPs going forward from Bethesda that would determine whether or not those would be going to third or to other ecosystems. We thought that like Indiana Jones was going to be a console exclusive. They've always kind of been able to talk around this. So if Phil's saying that they are going to continue making consoles, then in some form or another, that is what they're going to do. Now, that may change in the future because Xbox is shifting, and they're shifting faster than the competitors, which honestly I think is to a detriment, because if you push too fast and you go too far, you either turn into a Sega Dreamcast or you turn into an Xbox One.
Good point. Well said. I was going to make that same point, so I am fully in agreement. Don't push the community too hard, too fast. Similarly, you gotta make moves to survive. And when you lost the generation where people built their digital libraries, you lost a lot. However, I strongly think they made up so much of that ground in concept and idea by providing Game Pass. But once your save files are on your profile, many people don't want to switch no matter what. And I appreciate that logic. I really do. And so I think cross save helps a lot with a lot of things. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's interesting. I will say that as some like lately, I have been, you know, like the majority, if we scroll down at our notes and you look at like what I've been playing, I've been playing the Dead by Daylight 2v8 thing, right? A lot of that. But then Arkham Shadow, Arizona Sunshine, TMNT Splintered Fate. 2 of those are VR titles. One is a PC and Switch title. And I've been having a blast in all of them. I've not been playing my Xbox as much at the moment. And I'm still having a blast in gaming, still enjoying covering. I'm still looking forward to indie. We've got Stalker. So it's Stalker's next week, right?
God, is it next week?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, it is.
Yeah. And like we don't have review copies. I would imagine those are out there, right?
It
But
is
I don't
coming to
think.
Game Pass, so I'm regardless. I'll jump in and play it. But I'm on COD right now, and that's like my
That's
thing.
taking you. Yeah, that's your focus. You're enjoying it. Like I know exactly what it's like to just, you know what, this is what I'm playing. I'm having fun, right?
Yeah. The Dead by
Um,
Daylight thing, by the way, I like the fact that there's 8 survivors because I feel like I can go and just work on generators and ignore other people. And if they die, that's on them because I got away. And if somebody, if I get caught and somebody saves me, cool. If they survive, great. But I'm going to keep working towards me
mhm.
and get out on my own.
There's been a really cool like element to that because, and I won't stay on this long. When you play like 1v4, 4v1, right? When you play just the standard one, as long as you're not cranking your brightness up and you're a survivor, that's a horror movie. You're trying to survive, make it out. Like there's tension, everything else. The 2v8 where it's 8 survivors and whatnot, then it's just chaos and fun. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's the difference between playing a survival horror experience with other people and just having a blast, and
Yeah.
I think that's the big difference. And I play a lot of killer in 4v1 because I like that like power, like I'm going hunting, that's fun. In 2v8, I love being the survivor, right? And so
Mhm.
like what experience do you want? When I want to play like the horror tension thing, I'll play 1v4. But to go back to it, that's a massive community. Massive community.
Yeah.
But like there's not a lot of overlap, you know? And that's been interesting because as I've learned that how big that community is, they're just not people that would listen to our show and stuff. But it's been cool because it's been just
Yeah.
so new for me. But I've been in there for months now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Since middle of September, I think is when you started
Yeah.
to dabble.
Well, it's your fault, by the way.
Oh, I know.
Like, and I've just had such a good time, and like being Alan Wake in there is so much fun because like
Yeah.
I finished the Alan Wake expansion. Alan Wake 2 is done. I'm still playing Alan Wake. I feel like because I'm bringing light to the darkness and whatever. I'm just
Oh my
having
God.
fun. It's so cool. Like I get a kick out of it, and that's why I love like cross collab stuff. And
Yeah.
I will say I'm going to use this to jump over briefly. I played Shattered Space. I've been playing Shattered Space. That sucks. It's not
Yeah.
fun. Like that's not good. Shattered Space is
Rip.
not good. And I'm jumping in there and experience all the improvements of Starfield, and a lot of improvements. Frame rate looks great. Well, not that buggy is terrible. Like it's not good.
I wish I could. I wish I could sympathize with you on this one because I haven't. I've been playing on console or on PC with the really nice rig. So like all of those like improvements that they brought to the Xbox version, I was like, oh, that's cool. That's cute. Oh, I'm so glad for you guys. That's so yay. Good job. You got the 60 frames I wanted.
I'll tell you what though, I want to like makes me, and this is a joke, but like it makes me want to punch an infant when people are like, "Oh, that's just Bethesda games." Shush, don't excuse it. The bug
What I've been saying
is bad. I know you have, but like, and like I've agreed with you always. Like there's a caveat, right? Like I'm not going to get mad that a kid's game is kitty or that a mature game has blood in it. I'm not going to get mad at like some of the obvious stuff that people sometimes pretend they're upset over. But like excusing bad mission design or bad controls or bland worlds and stuff, like no, that's not acceptable.
Yeah.
So it really does bum me out because like I'm playing Shattered Space and I'm like, these enemies are lame. There's no diversity in enemies. The loot system is clunky, and like I love Starfield, but like it's got to evolve. It's got to evolve because you can get immersed, but like I feel like they could just do so much more. There's no monsters, there's no anything, and like people will be like, well, that's what the mods are for. Not an acceptable answer. Like not an acceptable answer.
But that is how Bethesda like goes forward. Like I would say, and here's my example of where I think that the opposite is the case. Fallout 76 is by far the most normal Bethesda game that Bethesda's ever made because it's open world. It's got quests, it's got NPCs, it's all voice acted. They have a variety of enemies. They continue to expand the world. They continue to expand the enemies. They continue to expand the player types that you can have. The building in there's offered a lot. They have a season pass. Like, it's a full on community with full on game, and it's all in Fallout. You look at all the other offerings that Bethesda makes, and you're like, this is a Bethesda game. And Fallout 76 does have the quirky controls, but at least going into Fallout 76, you are going to get a full on game, a standard full on game, and that's available on top of the really awesome community that they have over there.
I will tell you wholehearted. What's up, Split End? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping some double downs in chat, brother. I will tell you full on, my friend. I think Starfield's a great game. I think it's really enjoyable. Everybody that's like, oh, it's a 7. Yep, I agree. Everyone that's like, it's a 9. I agree. But when I go into an expansion, I feel like I want something special, and there's nothing special about Shattered Space. And I've heard a lot of content creators in the last few days be like, oh, to make room for Stalker, I deleted Starfield. Fair. Rock on. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. You do not need to be playing Starfield for 2 years straight. It's not a live service. But I think anytime I hear people excuse a game, oh, well, that's just what it is. No, don't do that. Don't do that. You can say, aesthetically, that's what Starfield's in space. It's going to be massive. Okay, fine. But don't excuse poor design, poor writing, poor enemy. Don't excuse some things. I just want to die on that hill real quick.
We do that a lot with companies that we stand for. I
can't stand it. Yeah.
And I it's one of those things that I struggle with Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves. That's a studio that I absolutely love. I love the developers over there. I think the people that work at that studio are fantastic. The friends that I've made over there have been really kind and really respectful, given the content that I make. But at the end of the day, they are not making the game very well right now. The studio is struggling to maintain the cadence. They've done an excellent job of keeping their seasonal cadence, but the features.
Hold this, because I want to ask the question. I want to make the question, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Split End 89, our buddy David Burdett, who's doing some good stuff for Gaming Trend. And
how about I get some of that Steel Series Call of Duty stuff?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm telling you, Luke, I want that stuff.
I haven't gotten it either. I'm hey. I want some of those earbuds myself. They look amazing, and he's reviewing some great COD stuff. Follow Split End 89, guys. He's over there on Blue Sky now, and check out gamingtrend.com. He's doing some good stuff with COD things. But he says, I gave Starfield a 9. I'm at an 8 after digestion. I think an 8, a 9, and a 7 are all perfect scores for Starfield. It's a matter of you get out of it what you put in. It's that kind of game. But Shattered Space, developed with intention to be a short experience, not fun. And uninteresting, I would say. They made this super cool idea of the House Varun, and it's just now, Logan, whole question and tonal shift, right? Let's talk about Sea of Thieves for a second. The live service aspect, one of Xbox's most successful live service games. I think you have to put aside the Minecraft and the Call of Duty just by nature of what we're talking about. This was a homegrown Xbox experience. Sea of Thieves became a pillar during the Xbox One era, had some incredible highs with year one anniversary release. I fell in love with the game at year one. You had the Pirates of the Caribbean content. You had Monkey Island. They did develop so many things to try and expand the user base and whatnot. However, you as somebody who's been doing Keelhauled for almost 7 years, seeing the Sea of Thieves community, have been frustrated at the stagnation and the poor support for Sea of Thieves by Rare. And so I would love to know, one, what you mean by that, but two, is it time for Sea of Thieves to go? What's the real problem that's going on? Please talk to me about where Xbox and Rare are failing.
This is such an interesting conundrum to me because on paper, Sea of Thieves is one of the best franchises, new IPs that came out of the Xbox One generation. The studio is fantastic, and the people there work really hard to try and make an amazing experience. The trouble comes in is there is a failing at the studio, and to a degree, I don't know where the failings are, but Sea of Thieves struggles with quality updates. And I don't mean like interesting content. I think the interesting content is available, but not always. They had a really good launch with the Burning Blade as a new world event, adding an AI ship that was captained by skeletons that you could command to a degree and take control of the ship and sail around in this giant man of war thing. Then you couple it right after that with the season, which is season 14, and all of the features aside from a couple are postponed because they're just not working, and the issues that they're having are fundamental because they're breaking the game. And a lot of the bugs that were fixed were reintroduced as a result of this. And this is a reoccurring thing with Rare. Rare has a really hard time keeping bugs fixed. And when the stability of the game goes down, the players don't want to play it, because at the end of the day, if you're trying to play the game, and especially if you're playing against other people, like imagine, you remember back when Halo Infinite was struggling with latency and hit registration. People were getting hit and killed when they were behind a wall trying to understand why. And it was because there was a latency issue between that. Xbox, like 343 or a Halo studio went in and they really shored up the issues with the servers. And they fixed the latency issues, and no one really complains about the fact that hit registration isn't working on Halo when you're shooting. Sea of Thieves, at the end of the day, is a first-person shooter. Like, the things that you use in the game to kill things are swords and guns, with a couple exceptions.
Right.
So when those things stop working in a game where the time to kill is the equivalent of 2 shots from a gun, if one of those shots does not hit, that is not a fun experience, because that should have been the kill, and you didn't, and you lost, and you sunk, and then all of your time was wasted because you just lost everything, because the game fought you and not the player. And it's one of those things where at the moment, I don't know what Xbox is doing to push Rare to continue with the cadence that they're going. I don't know if this is a studio mentality or if this is an Xbox mandate. But at the moment, Sea of Thieves is struggling with quality. Their bugs are coming, or their patches are coming out buggy. They're breaking things. They're delaying an update. There was an update that was supposed to happen this Thursday. It was the return of all of the features that had been turned off since the beginning of the season back on October 17th. We're now looking at a patch that's getting pushed out to Monday because they found a critical error on the eve of the patch getting launched. And in my mind, I'm like, who's doing the testing over there? Why are we running into these issues? So Sea of Thieves is really struggling at a fundamental core issue of, this game is broken. You need to fix it. You need to stop introducing new features. You need to actually make sure that the exploits and the bugs are taken care of. Now, when you play it, you probably have never noticed many of these things. That is probably the case for a large majority of gameplay or gamers out there that jump into Sea of Thieves for, time to time. They probably don't see or notice those bugs. But at the core community level, the people that play every week, it is almost unplayable. Almost. Because the number of times you get stuck on a black screen, the number of times your client crashes, the number of times hits don't register or sounds don't come through, it is painful. And it is really, really hard to cover a game when all there is to talk about is the devs apologizing on a consistent basis, constantly telling us that their quality is not being met. And after a couple of years, you have to keep wondering, when is the quality actually going to meet your expectations? Because it hasn't been meeting ours for a while.
So let me ask you this, and it's a bit existential. And so feel free to say, you know what, not there to answer right now. At what point does the community just decide we're done? We want to leave. At what point do content creators, yourself or otherwise, like Captain, I forgot his name.
Falcor.
Thank you. At what point do they say, you know what, I'm done. There's too many other good experiences to be had. Where should I go?
That is what you're seeing right now, actually. At the moment, the community player base, if you look at like Steam charts, has been dwindling, and it hasn't reached the peaks since A Pirate's Life with Jack Sparrow. This is a consistent problem. It's been bleeding people for quite a while. We'll see spikes, we'll see raises from time to time.
Came to PlayStation a year ago or something.
Yep, and that was a pretty good spike. That got close to A Pirate's Life as far as like player numbers went. When it came to PlayStation. Now, if it comes to Switch or the Switch 2, chances are we'll probably see a little bit of a bump. But even content creators right now, some of the old salts like myself are going out and having other experiences with other games. A lot of the streamers that were purely Sea of Thieves have started to introduce other games into their streaming, because at a certain point, if you're trying to play the game and your skill is having to overcome the adversary as well as the game code, you're going to have less fun, and it's not going to be something that is going to be a fun experience. So I don't know what needs to happen at the studio, but it needs to come from the top down. The studio has to either get better support, better devs, or more time for the stuff that they're trying to do, because at the moment they're not testing well. They're not finding exploits. They need people who know how to break the game the way streamers know how to break games, to be able to make sure that updates are coming in that aren't going to cause issues. So I don't know who makes that mandate, but Rare is struggling with Sea of Thieves when it comes to the community that they have. And that's not like to say that there aren't people who are going to be fans forever. I'll always be a fan for Rare for what they did. It's never going to be something where I hate the studio and I can't stand what they did, unless something really came out and they actually attacked some of the devs that are friends. That would have to be something. But I mean, that would be so far out of what I would expect that I don't ever anticipate that happening. But there is definitely a point right now where I could see a lot of the community, or a lot of the hardcore in streamers and content creators looking at Sea of Thieves and being like, it's not really worth it for me to be investing so much in a game that is fighting back when all I'm trying to do is enjoy it.
All right, so allow me to connect these dots to more recent events then, because I appreciate your point, and it's very layered, right? And I pose this question to you as well as the chat and comment section. Is the trouble with Rare, arguably, again, one of Xbox's most successful IPs, is the trouble with Rare and the live service element giving you pause or concern for games that we've seen things coming up for, like the deep dive on Indie or the South by Midnight documentary, both of which I would recommend people go watch. They're fantastic. Or even Avowed, which was delayed in order to, just because it was a crowded release window and they were like, you know what, let's polish. Does it give you pause on those single player experiences in any way, shape, or form?
I think that Xbox has a real desire to try and get content out as quickly as they can. They've got a full schedule. Most of the time, Xbox is scheduled up for a couple years. Like if content is launching, they are on a timetable. Like and I guarantee you, 2025 is already locked in as far as game launches. 2026 is already locked in on game launches. Like Phil already knows what games are going to be ready and which games are going to be not. And at a point, they have to realize games are going to need more time. And that's going to mean that there's going to be light Game Pass releases, or something else is going to have to get thrown in there. That's where third-party launches come into play, but those deals got to get made soon, and you have to try and fit those in somewhere. So do you double up on Stalker 2 and Avowed and Indiana Jones, knowing that one of those may have to get pushed, and you make the deal for Stalker 2 saying like, okay, we've got a buffer for Xbox Game Pass in case one of these games needs to get pushed? Yes, that is.
I think that's what you do. I think that's what you do, because now next year we anticipate South by Midnight, Avowed, Doom. There's one other Fable. We anticipate those games coming out next year, and that's alongside any content for Call of Duty Diablo, which Call of Duty, you imagine there's another one, Diablo, Grounded. Like there's other things. Now, in posing this question, we got some good stuff from chat. So let's look at Todd Oxter's question first, followed by Rick Davis's. Todd Oxter says, is Xbox too big for their leadership team to really be up to date on game and community issues? Great question. Follow that up with Rick Davis's comment. It's not a secret at this point, but I have very little confidence in Xbox leadership. Matt Booty, most of all, whether it's single player or multiplayer, I don't think he has any idea how to properly direct the teams. Comedically inclined, saying the Xbox leadership is just incompetent, and now they're the largest publisher in the industry. Now, Logan, I'm going to Devils. Hey, Mav, good to see you, buddy. Enjoyed your show last night. I was lurking the whole time.
Hey.
Good to see you, buddy. So let me caveat this, devil's advocate, if you will, before I give my actual position. When people ask, is Xbox leadership really up to date on community needs, and are they incompetent or whatnot? Xbox could have died, right? Xbox One was awful in terms of generation success. They were in third place. Now you have an Xbox that encompasses Bethesda, encompasses Activision Blizzard. You're getting Game Pass releases of Call of Duty day and date. I don't necessarily think it's a fair thing to say they are incompetent, because they are ensuring the success and future of Xbox. I think they are breaking the mold. And I'm curious what your take is, because I understand exactly what Rick is saying. I understand exactly what Todd is saying. And I understand some of the ideas behind comedically inclined, because like how could you not, if you're within the Xbox realm, right? So I understand what they're saying. So my question is, are they incompetent, or are they changing direction? What's the way to take this?
Let me can I answer your question with a question?
Yes, this is a presidential debate. Let's hear it.
Fantastic. So you said that Xbox was in third place in the Xbox One generation, and then they went and they started to get all these acquisitions. They started to put out a lot of games. Where are they now?
In third place.
So do you think that they are still, do you think that they are achieving what the goal was, which was to get out of third place?
I don't know that necessarily the goal was to get out of third place. Comedically inclined saying 11 years later, still in third, the leadership didn't accomplish anything. I don't even think that Xbox is in tough times, as Portal Player is saying. And hear my words, so that this is not meant to be copium or any like apologetic acknowledgement. I look at Sony, who's struggling to make money on its
Sony doesn't have games. They have consoles.
Right now they didn't produce games in 2024. Xbox didn't do it in 2022, I want to say it was, right?
Yeah, that was a weak year.
Yeah, right. Like I see PlayStation struggling on that front. PlayStation is selling consoles, but they are struggling, courtesy of information out of the Insomniac hack, which we know that they're struggling in several different ways. And then you look at the industry overall, where you've had the most layoffs we've ever seen took place in 2023 and 2024 as a retraction or a contraction from the expansion that took place during COVID. And so is Xbox being, not in third place the goal, or is Xbox surviving and making money the goal of that leadership? And that's where I'm saying I don't think leadership's goals align with the podcasting space that we inhabit. That's what I think is actually taking place. But do I want to be upset? Am I upset by that? A little bit, yeah. But if it means I get more Halo and more Gears, I have to acknowledge it. So that's what I am saying. is that perhaps it's not a matter of being in third or first or second place. It's a matter of ensuring the brand survives. And I'm not excusing poor choices. I still am upset about the Tango Gameworks thing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, maybe the goals are different. And so I guess that's the question for all listeners, for the chat, for anybody else is it a matter that our goals not aligning? Let me know.
Do you think that that's changing the goalpost in that case, though? Because I mean, like you addressed that we were looking at an Xbox that was in third place. Well, if we're looking at that goal, then they've still failed on that goal and have then pivoted to change the goal and move what their drive is going to be. Now, instead of their drive being like, we're going to sell more consoles than PlayStation. We may not hit Switch, but we'll beat PlayStation as far as consoles. Then the Xbox X and the Xbox Series S have failed in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But what they've succeeded is introducing their games to more people. And if that increases the revenue for the company, then that solves part of the problem of still sucking at selling their consoles.
I see. So I guess it really does depend on what we're actually asking. If the goal was to not be in third place, they have failed. Yes. If the goal was to get more players into the brand, they have absolutely succeeded.
Yeah.
To Mav's point in chat, third place in console sales, but not third place in revenue. Yeah. Absolutely. Very fair point. I agree. I see somebody mentioned, I think it was Rick Davis, said Sony's biggest struggles were a result of their foolish spending. Bungie, Concord, Firewalk were like setting a pile of money on fire. That's kind of what I'm getting at, is that, like, if anyone's saying Xbox is struggling, it's like, I think PlayStation's struggling worse. They're
still selling more consoles.
They are selling more consoles, absolutely. But are they making more revenue? And again, I don't know, right? Like,
yeah,
picture, I don't know.
I think it really is. It really comes back to the idea that these companies are, and we've talked about this, and this is not new news or anything, but we've talked about the fact that Xbox is no longer competing the way that gamers, quote unquote, have expected them to compete. It's why the mentality behind this is an Xbox is getting so much backlash, because quote unquote gamers are still expecting them to pull out a third with their consoles, and they think that consoles are the way to do that. And Xbox is not looking at consoles as the way to get out of third place. They're looking at games and revenue as the way to get out of third place, to become a name that is bigger than a console. And that's where the mentality shift is. Gamers want the console to succeed. Xbox wants the platform to succeed.
Interesting. Okay, the points are lining up well here. So let's take this question to what they have in their lineup for 2025. We're set to get Avowed. At the tail end of 2024, we're getting Indiana Jones. It's like 2 weeks away, maybe 3 weeks away, I think. So I would imagine reviewers are going to get it just prior to Thanksgiving, but I don't know that. Again, we're not in their top echelon, right? We might get review codes, we might not.
Only you can help make that happen, chat.
Actually, chat, I will say to anybody listening, if you're on socials and you're so inclined, I would love to have Sarah Bond or Phil or Aaron Greenberg or Matt Booty on the show. If that's a thing that we want to try to make a campaign, I'd love to do it. That'd be cool. But I don't want to also appear like beggy. I don't know what the right terms are, but I would love to have them on. I feel like our interview. Yeah, I don't want our interview element to be. Let me back that up. What I'm trying to say is I feel like we've interviewed enough great voices in games, and we've had enough people in the community that it'd be worth having them on. And I think they would be willing to come on if we could raise enough noise in the right way, in not a demanding way, in a fun way. But who knows?
We would love to get a little bit of you see the waitress wandering around from table to table at the restaurant, and you're just like over here, like I just really needed some ketchup over here, just a little bit of get that little attention over here. Fantastic. Not a big ask, just also my food at some point, but that's on top of the ketchup.
It would be an honor, because I feel like we've celebrated Xbox a lot, covered Xbox a lot, and critiqued them enough in a way that wouldn't it be just a softball question type thing,
I think we understand Xbox well enough to be able to present an interesting enough interview for folks to be able to like enjoy that experience and see it coming from us.
Agreed. So anyhow, I want to look at the lineup then, because I watched a really great deep dive for the Indiana Jones thing. I really enjoyed it.
I'm curious about your thoughts on that.
So I'll point listeners to the deep dive on Indiana Jones. Came out, it's about 15 minutes. There's a 30-minute documentary on South by Midnight that's out on YouTube right now. Avowed is now taking pre-orders and preloads. Stalker 2 is next week. There's a lot to be excited about on an Xbox platform, right? Like there's a lot of ways that whatever your Xbox is, whether it's a phone, a PC, a laptop, a screen, a Samsung TV, or an Xbox, there's a lot to look forward to in the near future, in the next 6 months. And I will tell you, having watched the deep dive on Indiana Jones, I'm more excited than I was by far. That game looks to be very well made, extremely well made. I still hear Troy Baker be Troy Baker, and that's because I play some. It's because I do so much Batman content, and he is just a wonderful voice for DC. But he plays the Joker, he plays Harvey Dent, he's played Batman. He's been all of them, so I just hear Troy. Unfortunately,
I will say, and he's coming to SAC Anime this winter.
Oh, cool.
So I'll get to see him again if I choose to. But I have my own personal things with Troy Baker as far as like my opinions on him. But I will say that having watched the deep dive, there are moments that he really captures Harrison Ford's voice and cadence. And sometimes it wavers. The longer he speaks, the less it comes out. But in the short little one-offs, he does a fantastic job of sounding similar to Harrison Ford. So I really appreciated that. Seeing a younger Indy.
You took the words out of my mouth. Yes, that's kind of what I'm getting at. No. We're in agreement, because Troy is Troy at this point to gamers that have like paid attention. Yeah. But he does a great job, and that performance is solid, to say the least, right? At the very least, that's young Indy. At best, that's a great young Indy. And so I'm, cheers to that, at least based on the deep dive. Now, it got me more excited for the game than otherwise would have been. I still think is it 3 months timed exclusivity is silly. Like that's either release it everywhere or make it a year. I don't understand. I don't even like timed exclusives, but
But I mean, better timed exclusives. Like, I mean, we'll take oh God, Kojima. What the hell is their game? What is the Norman Reedus game called? It's not Dead Space. Death Stranding. Thank you. Took 5 years, but technically a timed exclusive. So I'm happy for Xbox gamers to eventually get that.
Shout out to Kojima for owning his stuff, and when he put it on Xbox, he put the full complete edition at $20. So, all right, cool, man. Good on you.
I appreciate that.
But I'll say, so I don't, but my big point, I don't think Indie's selling Xboxes for Christmas. I don't understand the timed exclusivity, but to loop back, bigger point, gamers need to pay attention to that deep dive, because I think they're in for a really good game, and it will set appropriate expectations for anyone that still thinks that it's Tomb Raider or Uncharted. It's not. And as much as I might want it to be sometimes, it's really nice to see them doing their own thing and crafting their own world. So like once I play it and go hands-on, dope. I'm excited. The South by Midnight documentary was fantastic.
Wasn't that good?
And I've already been excited for that game. That is among my most anticipated. And I wonder if what we're going to see for Avowed, and how Avowed and South by Midnight are going to compare, because they exist to me in this like artsy niche, we're trying to do something unique and be special realm. And I'm here for a good 10 to 15 hour campaign. That's what I want. Please, more of that. Whereas Indie, I feel like it's sort of trying to capitalize on mainstream, but not. Like there's this weird, are you trying to be a blockbuster? And so I'm excited. I'm more excited for Avowed and for South by Midnight, but I have a feeling I'm going to love Indie. And so I just really love Xbox's direction. Could not be more stoked for Doom and COD, but like I feel like I know what I'm getting with those. Whereas South by Midnight and Avowed feel like they're going to be new, and Indie is this cool question mark.
I am extremely excited for new IP. New IP is something that will push, especially in the third party space, or not the third party space, the AAA space. those are experiences that I think are really going to endear people to a generation. People are always going to remember those little standouts. I think seeing Avowed on the BattleNet launcher is wild to me with pre-orders going live. I think it's crazy that this is the first non-Activision Blizzard title to be arriving on BattleNet. I got emails about it. I saw promotions when I booted up BattleNet. It's wild to me to see that. I'm excited for what their launch is going to look like, being that this is going to be Obsidian's version of Elder Scrolls. And I think that the pedigree there is outstanding. The studio directors, they know what they want out of a game. Now I hate encumbrance. It's a stupid thing in a game. We don't need it, but they're gonna have that in there, and I'm gonna suffer through that because I think this game is gonna be amazing for the experience that it's going to offer. But the South by Midnight documentary of them kind of talking about how they wanted to have creatures based on folklore, based on real stories of cryptids in the South, having trips down there, having a guy go down there for like 6 months to do different recordings of the atmosphere during different seasons of the year. It's just amazing to have them really kind of take things like the swamps in New Orleans and different, the Appalachian mountains, take those and try and embody those into the different biomes that they're going to have for South by Midnight. I think is amazing. I love that Ahmed Best is putting in work as a performer and the voice director for the game. I think it's great to see him kind of really starting to come back into the limelight after such a hard life since, the first episode 1 for Star Wars, after that ridicule, after the struggles he went through to see
he was Jar Jar Binks for anyone that's unfamiliar.
Yeah. Sorry. We should probably mention that.
It's okay.
There's a really interesting story about Ahmed Best and Jar Jar that if people haven't gone out to watch, it's really endearing to see the strength that it takes to deal with something when you are hated that much for a character that it was a job. So to see him back in working in different places and different parts of media is a fantastic thing. So they've done a really good job with the music, with the audio, with the characters, with the design, with the unique art style as well too. The kind of stop motion style of this game. I think it's going to be great. I think this is going to be a really, really well thought of game from Compulsion at the end of the day. And I think a lot of people are going to look at this as like a really nice showcase piece for Xbox that will probably, I'm going to say right now, is probably going to be Game of the Year contender when it comes out next year.
Which one?
South by Midnight.
South by Midnight. You think it's going to be a Game of the Year contender?
I do.
Ooh.
I think it's got a strong, they've shown more gameplay and more of the world and the story than what we were expecting from Hellblade 2. And I think because of that, it shows a lot of confidence. Like the game's not even out. They're not even doing marketing for the game right now. And they're already releasing a documentary based on how it was actually created. Shows a lot of confidence and a lot of concept that they've put into to try and like introduce you to this world. So to me, I think that's going to be amazing. And I know that it's going to be like Rick Davis makes a really strong point in chat talking about how GTA 6 is going to be something that is hard to contend with in 2025. I think 2025 will be a really busy year, but I think if you were to look at the Oscars as like a way to identify like how some of the kind of like emotional showcase pieces in media tend to get like more notice or accolades in the movie industry. I think for the gaming industry, I think South by Midnight is one of those ones that kind of is on par with something like Alan Wake 2.
I don't think this game has a chance of being Game of the Year, no matter how good it is.
Wow.
But I'm here because I just don't think the formula for what Game of the Year is anymore is as understandable as it perhaps should be.
Like it takes two. It makes sense.
God, I don't get it. But I'm out of touch on that. I don't understand. But that said, I don't need to understand. I need people to play the game. Like I will die on a hill that I think Hellblade 2 was incredible. Best visuals of this generation that I've ever seen. The best audio design that I've ever seen in a game ever, which is a high bar, right? Like I don't throw those out lightly. And yet it wasn't very popular nor very well adopted and critically didn't do so hot. And so like that gives me pause and worry. Like, what's the bar, right? What is the bar? I'm really glad people are loving COD. Everybody seems to say this is the best COD around. It's not clicking with me, but I need to play the campaign still. Like I'm going to. I honestly am enjoying other stuff right now. And okay. So I just wonder, like, is game of the year the goal? Is it to sell the game? Because like you and I have a $10 bet that Avowed's not coming physical, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's been answered yet, but like I don't think it is. Right? I don't think that game's coming physical. I don't think. I feel like South by Midnight was meant to be Game Pass fodder, and it just happens to look amazing and be amazing looking. Like I watched that documentary, and I'm all in on the art, the people, the voices, the actors. It just, to me, that game looks friggin' credible.
Yeah.
Friggin' credible. Rick Davis saying they have confirmed there's a physical copy of Avowed, he thinks. And so cool. I got you $10 to Extra Life or wherever you want me to put it once we know. But yeah, like I don't know what game of the year entails, but next year is going to be interesting with the Switch 2 and GTA 5 or 6, I should say. Really interested to see just kind of what happens in those realms, because Fable's supposed to be in there also. I just don't think it matters anymore. Like I don't have a lot of faith in the Game Awards to be the voice of the game of the year. I don't have a lot of faith in a lot of these, and I don't care. Like it's not like I don't have faith, all is lost. No. The Game Awards has become a marketing thing. Summer Game Fest was disappointing. It's become a marketing thing, but also like at Summer Game Fest, I saw Rita's Rewind for Power Rangers, and I saw Arkham Shadow, and Arkham Shadow is my current game of the year. Like that game is incredible, and I'm finally having time to spend in VR, because I find VR a bit tiring, like physically tiring. Like at the end of the day,
a lot of work.
Yeah, at the end of the day, my eyes are tired. We've talked about my eyes being an issue for years. Like to go into VR is tiring. It's not big guy. Is physically tiring. So like I don't have it for a lot of VR, but like Arkham Shadow is freaking incredible. Skydance's Behemoth is coming out, which by the way, this is just funny and dumb. Like, you know how sometimes we pronounce words wrong, and like you say footage. Why? That's not what you're supposed to say. But you just say footage.
What is it? What
footage.
Is that word?
It's footage. It's always been footage. Like it's silly that you think it's footage, but like I say simultaneous instead of simultaneous. I just like the way it sounds, right? It's dumb. So I am well aware of the word behemoth. This is a real thing, by the way. Behemoth. That's the word. I know the word. I use the word often when I talk about monsters and such. When I see there's a new game coming out by Skydance, they did Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. They're a very high profile VR.
Very good.
They have a really impressive game coming out called Behemoth. That's what it's called. Like it looks incredible. Like we're talking Asgard's Wrath 2 level quality. When I see it, I say Behemoth. Skydance is Behemoth. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Like I'm well aware of the word behemoth. I'm well aware of that it means monster, and this game's got giant Shadow of the Colossus level things in VR, and it looks incredible. But I'm like, Behemoth, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Game Seeker asks, Arkham Shadow Game of the Year contender? Absolutely, and I'm not saying that just as an Arkham fan. This is a game that is like, and I've researched this because like I have a bias and lack of experience in VR, so I've been researching. This is kind of the combination of other things. The game is so well done at being immersive. It's a great Arkham game and a great VR game. It's bundled in with a very approachable $300 VR headset that's standalone, no wires, and a lot of people are really enjoying it. And so that's why I say what I'm saying. To me, it is a Game of the Year contender, but I don't think a VR game could win Game of the Year. I just don't.
That would be impressive, but if it wasn't Half-Life Alyx, I don't know if we'll ever see that.
Yeah, I don't either. I think it's too niche of an area. And Asgard's Wrath 2 was a 10 out of 10 and IGN and everyone else. And like that game's on my backlog. It's in MetaQuest Plus, which is a great subscription service. Like, I just think, like if you're going to get a game of the year, you're going to be a mainstream game. I just think that's a thing. Or you're going to be, what was it? Untitled Goose Game. And I'm like, y'all are just voting to throw stuff. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So my bigger point is gaming is such a massive realm that looking at Game Awards as the voice of gamers is no longer a thing. And that's probably a good thing. Like that game, there's so many ways to enjoy games. So.
Yes. Also, I wanted to, I do agree that it is not necessarily where people, it's definitely become much more of like, what do the journalists think is the most interesting game, and less like the popular vote? Because I think that the popular vote has been different each year, except for last year. I want to say, I don't know. I'd actually have to go back and take a look, but I remember the popular vote before last year's, which was oh god, the game that I cannot play because it's turn based that everyone loved, Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, I think that aligned, but I think other ones have had different. But I think we've had pretty stellar years as in the past as well too. I wanted to call out Rick Davis's question because I want to pose this to yourself as well as the chat. Rick Davis says, "Okay, so yes, to clarify, there is a physical release, but no disc. The physical quote unquote steelbook release is the premium edition and includes a code. Does that count as physical for Avowed?" And the same thing actually is for Indiana Jones as well.
No, not at all. I don't think that's a physical release.
You don't think that's
cool? No, I think that's a collectible. It's dope. I love it. I like that because I'm not putting discs in my consoles. I think I'm fine with that. But to me, a physical release is like it's on disc. It's on cartridge. That's what I think a physical release is.
When was the last? Well, I'm trying to think of like what the last physical disc release was for Xbox in that case.
Infinite? Probably Halo Infinite.
Halo Infinite had a disc?
Starfield had discs, didn't it?
I don't know if Starfield had a disc.
I haven't bought a disc in years. This whole generation. Like I'm offended by the idea of having to get up and put a disc in, which I don't understand. Starfield did have a disc, says Rick Davis. Okay. But I feel like that was the last one in my mind.
Interesting.
Yeah, because Sea of Thieves on PlayStation doesn't have a disc, does it? I don't think so.
I actually don't know. I haven't gotten around to try and find a physical copy for the PS5 now that I think about it. I probably should. I do go hunting for Xbox One copies that have the original disc art. I love going to like I can't think of words are failing me today. Consignment stores, like going to like secondhand stores.
Yeah, I got you.
Looking for copies of Sea of Thieves. Legit, like have at least one spare copy of Sea of Thieves on in my house at some point. For you never know, someone will be like, "Oh, Sea of Thieves." It's like, "Oh, I have a copy. It cost me like $5. Here you go." So,
Big shout out to Game Seeker for our first super chat of the day. $2 Canadian super chat. It says, "Happy to have found this podcast. Honored and appreciative that you did, my friend. Thank you."
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Hope you're enjoying the conversations, man. We just want it to be a great place for gamers. So thank you. Thank you.
Definitely appreciate that. Shout out to everyone else who got a membership through Luke, gifting out 5 memberships as well. I know Regis still a part of that as well too. He'll probably see that and wonder what the heck is going on. But yeah, I definitely think that it'll be interesting to see like where South of Midnight ends up in the gaming zeitgeist, because at the moment, I think it's a beautiful game. I think it's right up my alley because it fits into those like God of War Banishers or Ghosts of New Eden kind of gameplay styles, like Star Wars, where you have little arenas where you have little battles and then you traverse and you go into the story and then you come across another little battle arena and you fight your way through that and just kind of slowly move your way through the story with a little bit of action and traversal mixed in. I think those are some of the games that I enjoy the most because they give a well-paced break in between the action to build up the characters and the what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
So I hope that's good. I like that Indiana Jones is being posed as a adventure game and not an action game, because I'm here for the adventure aspect of discovering like what's going on with these relics, what the Great Circle is. You know, is it the discovery that the world is flat? Like, who knows at this point? Like, Indiana Jones could reveal all, and I won't get to find out till December 9th.
I sincerely hope that games like Starfield, COD, or anything else like I really wish they would do more collab crossovers. I know it sounds like a repeat conversation, but like I had a cowboy hat on in part of my Starfield playthrough. Like we should have an indie hat, like there should be ways to customize your character as homages there. I still think they missed the mark on not doing stuff like that. I also sincerely hope, and I'll make this very clear, like I hope that all the lore and the history behind like the swamps and the Carolinas and the Deep South, and having a woman of color kind of embracing the accent and the history behind that area is properly celebrated by the gaming community. And I'm hoping with like Blue Sky and social platforms that aren't Twitter, algorithms don't bury spotlights on that stuff. So I'll make no bones about it that I find that to be a very net positive with what they're doing on South by Midnight, and I am here for it. I'm excited for it. So before we round out today, we have two great listener questions. One from Kevin Ainsworth, who says, first time, long time friends, wondering what games you're looking forward to playing during the holiday season. Logan, I am stoked to enjoy my backlog and celebrate my backlog here. There is a lot of stuff in VR that I'm looking to finish up and start, Behemoth being one of them, Behemoth being one of them. Wrapping up Arkham Shadow, hopefully during Thanksgiving break, and just exploring that world, but also like indie. I want to play through indie. I love that it's a digestible amount of time to play in that world. Because isn't it 15? I think it's 15, right?
I don't think I've seen actually like how long it's going to be, but I'd say like 15 would be my hope.
I don't want it to be 30. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be 30, but like I want to play through Star Wars Outlaws this holiday during the holiday time. I really want to just dive in and just spend some time with some of the campaigns that I haven't gotten to get to for games that I'm excited for. I'm playing TMNT Splintered Fate on PC, and that is a fantastic video game. That is Hades with Ninja Turtle skin, and I'm like, when I say it's Hades quality, it is Hades quality. I loved Hades. I don't know if you played Hades a lot.
Oh, I loved it. I never got to beat it, but I actually really loved it.
I beat it on a few runs, but I played a ton of Hades, and this is like just Hades again, but Ninja Turtles, and very well made. And so I'm digging that. Yo, Game Seeker with another super chat. Thank you, my friend. Another Canadian super chat. $2 says South of Midnight looks amazing. It fingers crossed it sells well. Agreed, my friend. Agreed. So yeah, this holiday I'm working through a bunch of just campaigns and enjoying it. I am not likely to be battle pass heavy unless Fortnite does something unique for its next one. Because like I went in and bought my Eminem songs that I was enjoying, and that's about all I got. That's all I got. Because I think I'm just enjoying my DVD stuff, and you guys are more in COD, and so like I'm just celebrating playing games in other spots currently. Hey, there's Zach Bowser, who I mentioned at the top of the show. That's Glyphier. Says Reach Squad versus Delta Team. Who you got in a fight? Reach Squad all day. Reach Squad all day wins that one. Sorry, Marcus. Doesn't happen.
Delta.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I don't know, man.
I'm voting with my heart. I would rather have Delta win on that one. I don't care.
I think like removing the technology advantage that Reach, the Noble Team has.
Yeah.
I just think the Spartans are better trained. I think Delta's got more grit. But yeah.
You think that the Spartans are better trained than the Gears?
Oh God, yes, bro. What?
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Now, yeah, again, I'm talking like not if it's 1-1, there's no chance Delta wins. Like if it's like their Noble Team gets to have all their tech and their like augmented abilities and stuff, like there's not even a question. But I think I think if you remove like some of the story advantages.
This is where I realized like you're more of a Halo fan and I'm more of a
No,
Gears fan.
no, that's not even remotely fair. I'm talking like if you look at Noble Team, they were elite. They literally saved the war with the Covenant.
I'm sorry. Who was it that saved all of the like who were the heroes in Gears of War?
What Joseph Squad's Papa, Adam Phoenix did.
Oh.
Yeah, he had all the technology and stuff. That's crazy.
Okay.
One use of Hammer of Dawn in the Reach. The Hammer of Dawn breaks every time.
It doesn't matter, all right? It still shoots.
If the Hammer of Dawn was so effective, the grubs wouldn't have made it. I'm just saying.
I mean, they didn't. The ones that got hit by it didn't. And yet somebody's son did.
All right, you know what? I need to make this a poll over on the old.
I'm saying like if one of the Gears of War kids can survive a Hammer of Dawn, I feel like that speaks volumes to the caliber of that member. I don't want to spoil anything because I just barely like went back and played through.
Also, you had a bad experience playing Reach. I love both of them. All right, Noble Team and Delta Squad. Cast your votes, YouTube. While we're making the votes here, did you get to say what you're looking forward to playing?
Oh, so definitely going to be jumping into Stalker 2 because I want to jump in and try that experience. I definitely want to. I'm waiting for the news about. I could have swore that the 14th was when Outlaws was coming to Steam, but I haven't seen any news about when that launch is. So maybe that's next week.
21st. I think it's my birthday. Actually, I turned 39 on the 21st. Humble brag. So,
if you weren't going to bring it up, I was going to. Star Wars Outlaws definitely on my list. 21st, Rick Davis confirms. Okay, so definitely want to jump into Stalker 2. Definitely want to jump into Star Wars Outlaws. I still have Flintlock and Space Marine on my docket of things to play as well too. I unfortunately do not get a whole lot of vacation time from work during the holidays. I have to take that myself, but I am going to be spending a hefty amount of time in Ohio this coming Christmas. So there is a strong possibility that I will see if I can actually start like grinding through some of those games in between going out and doing stuff.
Yeah. So, Nissa Howard, Flintlock is amazing. Agreed. I love Flintlock.
I've been wanting. It's a real travesty that I have not actually dived into that game because that was one of those ones that I was looking forward to since launch or since the announcement of that game. Like it looked amazing. It looks fun. I really want to jump into that and answer
double A goodness. Know that it's double A, not triple A.
Yeah. No, that's fully what I expected, but it's kind of like in the same vein as like Banishers Ghost of New Eden. It's like I know it's going to not be an amazing like top tier shelf kind of quality experience, but those like I still really enjoyed my time with a lot of. It's kind of like what was the one like last fall or last August that we were standing for so long. It had Immortals of Avium, yeah.
Great game.
It's like in that vein where it's a really good game. It's a brand new IP. Not many people are going to really jump into it, but it's going to be one of those ones that it's like in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's going to be a fantastic experience.
Yeah. Immortals of Avium. I'm just so sad that happened to that team. It stinks. Same with Callisto Protocol, which again, these are flawed games, but it really does stink that the bottom fell out of the AA market.
But I mean, it's still there. It's just not nearly as it's not nearly as big as it used to be like during like the PlayStation 2 era for sure. But
Darksiders is coming back.
Yeah, they got some good stuff there.
Yeah, you want to tackle our next question?
Yeah, actually, why didn't that actually? I don't know why it's not going into chat. Maybe it's not. Oh, I don't know. Go ahead if you can.
All right, James Suddy. James Suddy says, He says, with Secret Level on the horizon, most likely bringing more attention to gaming, and more specifically those games included in the series, what else can the gaming industry do to attract new players? Ooh, so I think I've not watched Secret Level. He was swearing by it in our Discord the other night and saying it was fantastic. Excited for that. Like,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I saw a little bit about it, but I haven't gotten to like actually spend time. I was playing a lot of Call of Duty, getting my diamond camos, by the way. So I have not. Yeah, I haven't gotten to check it out, dude. I've put in over like 60 hours into that. It's
nice.
and I still got to finish the campaign. And season 1 is very interesting.
I'm not enjoying the maps.
I think you got to learn the maps. Because there are some maps that are just bad, but there's some maps that are really good. You just got to start to kind of like find where the angles and the spots are.
Mm-hmm.
And once you start getting that, it's like, okay, now you're just waiting for people to walk into your sniper or into your scope. And it's like, feels good.
Quick shout out to Glyphere for another $2 super chat. Thank you, man. Says, here's to swimming in sevens. By the way, Resident Evil 6 is the best one. I'm so offended by that statement. Resident Evil 6 is dog water, and I do not like it. I love Resident Evil. I was actually looking at that yesterday. Talk about Dead by Daylight. You know, the RE skins are in there. Yeah. So I play as Leon a lot. But like it's cool because like you can, one of the maps is the Raccoon City Police Department, and like zombies are going through it. It's cool. But I love Resident Evil. 2 and 3 remake, fantastic. 4, the GOAT, excited to play that in VR. The 7, the scariest game I've ever played, bar none. And 8 was just a fun spook game. Really enjoyed that. Like, I love Resident Evil. 6 was terrible. I remember being so excited for that game at launch and just being devastated at how bad it was.
Oh man,
my heart broke.
I haven't played Resident Evil outside of Village for a little bit since Code Veronica. Never played 4.
We've talked about this, but I do not think you would have a problem playing 4. Like, I really don't, bud.
I played the demo. It was rough. It was hard. I was just like
difficulty.
No, like anxiety.
Crank it down to easy and have a good time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm playing this really good zombie game in VR called Arizona Sunshine, and normal, I do not enjoy it. Like, it's too hard at normal because I don't know if I'm not good at VR or what, but I much prefer just going through feeling tough, and like it's fun.
Yeah, that's fair.
I had a good jump scare in VR. That was cool.
Yeah,
like I was like, ugh! And like,
poop your pants.
No, but I
not good then.
I do find that I have to stretch before and after. And I
imagine that.
I know I tweaked my back getting up too fast yesterday, and I've had a headache and been in pain since. And I've been laying on sleep like a heating pad, and I'm struggling, man. It's crazy.
Wait till you hit 40.
Shut up. I'll be 39 next week. So. Glyphere said he loved the action of playing it with his son. No puzzles, just shoot stuff. That's fair.
Yeah,
I get that. It was a little too what is it? Quick time event. I do not like quick time events. I don't like anything in a game where you have to tap. So I immediately go into accessibility, and I always adjust to inverted controls, but I will always do hold versus tap. That's the bet. Like accessibility in that front, amazing. Absolutely amazing for that purpose. So yeah. To answer Suddy's question, we really got sidetracked here. Secret Level series on the horizon, bringing more attention to games. What else can the gaming industry do to attract new players? I think it's putting games in more places, but also it's a matter of good films will bring people in. Borderlands is not going to bring anybody in, even though interestingly Take-Two saw a kick up in Borderlands sales, which they addressed actually recently in an interview. But like the Sonic the Hedgehog movies, the game or the movie?
Both. Very uninteresting to me.
I have not enjoyed Borderlands, and since Borderlands 1 remake, like 2 and pre-sequel, like that area.
Yeah.
Tales from the Borderlands was good, but like it just doesn't age well.
But that isn't even. I'm not even going to get into that.
I just mean like as a franchise. That's all.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. So like a good Tales from the Borderlands helped move Borderlands stuff. Sonic the Hedgehog movies, very good, helped move units there. So I think movies do it. Super Mario movie, another way of getting more people into the generation of gaming, right? So I think that's the kind of thing that does it. But I think gaming can be equally hurt by those things if you're not careful.
Oh yeah, Halo. I'm looking at you.
Yeah, God,
Master Cheeks.
Yeah, I think hurting the games industry also games like Suicide Squad. Nobody asked for it. Nobody wanted it. You burned bridges by making it. You know,
same thing with the movies too.
The DC movies.
Yeah,
my heart just hurts.
I know.
Like,
can I pose Todd Oxtra's question? I really want to.
Yeah, did we?
Is Little Caesars ruining COD for you, Luke?
I read that wrong when he wrote it, and so like now I'm reading it right. No, I honestly I don't know why I've never like Black Ops compared to Modern Warfare's, and I think that's why I don't know. I can't even articulate why. I just have never clicked with Black Ops the way I have with Modern Warfare.
The UI?
I don't know. The feel of Black Ops is different.
The feel is different from any game right now. The Omni movement's like way, way different from what anyone's ever played with Call of Duty, but it's
my KD is getting better. Like I'm in a positive KD trend when I've been playing with you guys, but I'm still like not enjoying it. And this isn't like a tism tizzy perseverate thing that Kev keeps dismissing it as. Like I'm not enjoying it, and I don't know why.
I'm saying I would say that you falling in love with VR has definitely given you an excuse to not spend as much time in COD to get more acquainted with Black Ops. Is that fair?
No, your point is well taken. It's more DBD I'm just enjoying.
Fair.
That's more of what that is where my time is going when I'm sitting in the chair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm enjoying the events and the tomes and stuff, but I wonder if it's a speed thing. Like I've been very tired through October. We talked about how busy my October was, and I got hit with some real life stuff that's just been a lot. Like as soon as one thing stopped, another thing hit. And things are going well on that front, improving.
Good.
I'll tell you off air, but still heavy and hard. So like I've been playing a lot of sit down, but I've wanted a slower game because I've been tired.
COD is definitely, especially with Treyarch and Raven in them, like their maps are small and the TTK is shorter. So like that's why I've really enjoyed hardcore, because hardcore is literally like the Twitch shooter. Like you click and a couple hits and they're done, and you just it's really nice to have those moments where you get like 2 or 3 kills at a time, where you go into like a fury kill and you get like 5 people at once and you're just like, oh, it feels so good. It's so satisfying. And especially like you get those long range snipes and it's just a headshot with an assault rifle, so you can still kind of run and gun if you want. It's satisfying. It's extremely satisfying. I have embraced the hot and ready, by the way. Like the hot and ready is one of my favorite skins, and I will stand for the call for the Little Caesars.
I have come around on hardcore mode. I like hardcore.
Yeah,
like I like that mode.
That's good. That's good. I've really, Nuketown needs to be fixed. There's some serious issues going on with Nuketown. But yeah, the hot and ready skin is my favorite. I've actually been enjoying Little Caesars pizza lately, but then again, it's Little Caesars. It's pizza. It's just like the pizza puffs are so good. I haven't had the pizza puffs. Maybe I'll get the pizza puffs today.
Channel members, you can do another code. Little Caesars symbol if you want to. God, it's the worst. You can also do a fun VR one.
That's true. You do.
Another $2 super chat.
Thank you.
From Zach here. Last thing. I don't know what that says. Lad IW RPG of the year, or is RPG of the year, no doubt. LED.
I
don't know. What is that?
What is LED?
I don't know.
Did we miss something in the
Are we not cool?
Are we? No.
Is this a JRPG thing?
It's the children that are not cool.
That's right. It's the kids who are out of touch.
Yeah.
But Zach's a great beer with it. Like a dragon, infinite wealth. Look at Rick Davis coming in and saving us. We're not Yakuza fans. That's why. Okay.
That's why.
Okay. Metaphor, Like a Dragon, and I feel like there was one other big RPG. Is it Rebirth that people are like, no, this is the RPG of the year?
I think Metaphor is going to be the one, honestly. Like if we're talking straight up RPG. But I will say I love that Like a Dragon has gotten so much love in the United States since it got introduced to Game Pass. Like having more and more people fall in love with that franchise is hilarious to me. And the stuff they do is it's so out there that I'm just like, okay, you know, this is this is like the Family Guy of video games right now. Like everyone expected it from like Suda 51. It's the Like a Dragon series that's going out there and doing the stuff that you're just like, they really getting away with this, and it's not a mature way to go. Okay, all right, let's go.
All right, I'm about to close down this poll. At the moment, Noble Team is at 56% and Delta Squad is at 44%. I'm about to close down that poll. Last chance for YouTube channel or YouTube viewers watching live to vote in on that one. Logan, any closing thoughts for this week, my friend?
I've really appreciated the chat that's been going on over in the XEP Discord. Xbox is having their Black Friday sale, so there's tons of games that are on sale right now. There's tons of like discounts in the Xbox Design Lab, as well as discounts on the actual consoles themselves. So keep an eye out there, folks. Make sure that if you're looking for good deals, now is the time to be searching for those. Start looking for advertisements from like Best Buy, Target, Walmart for all those like games that have been on your backlog that you haven't picked up yet. Get out there and look for them if you want to save some money on that. So just a heads up about that, because now's the time to be shopping. There you
go. All righty, guys, I'm shutting that poll down. It is ending with Noble Team, the victors, by a quick 9 votes from our live audience. So I don't know what that sample size goes to, but there you go. Shout out to Ellie Woods Parker III. I know you're going through it. I love you. You're amazing. All right, let's see here, Logan. I will point people to check us out over on Blue Sky. I will thank everybody that showed up this week in episode 251, because it's been an absolute pleasure. I've thoroughly enjoyed the XEP Discord this week as well. I'm just happy to celebrate games with so many people. Find me at InsipidGhost over on Blue Sky and Threads. It's been a great time in those 2 places. And if you're willing, please consider supporting us over on patreon.com/Xbox Expansion Pass and the YouTube channel membership. Logan, where can they find you?
You can find me over at Blue Sky at captlogan.bluesky.social. You can also find me in the XEP Discord. If you want to check out Keelhauled and hear my thoughts on some of the upcoming issues with Rare and how they're looking to shift things back to year 1. Keelhauled is going to be coming out on Monday. You can find that on YouTube and your podcatchers of choice, as well as Spotify at Keelhauled, a Sea of Thieves podcast.
All right. Have a fantastic rest of your week, everybody. Take care.